embarrassed. I'm embarrassed as a human.
Tired.
Frustrated.
Heartbroken.
Disappointed.
Distraught.
Disgusted.
Disgusted.
The inhumane murder of George Floyd has become a far too common image in America.
We're here today to say no more.
No more. Enough.
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 Enough is enough. I'm a human, just like all of you. My blood is red, my heart pumps that blood. I'm a human too.
It's time we all educate ourselves and put action to words.
It is time for change.
And joining us now, Billy Turner. What an incredibly powerful video that you and your teammates put together. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. And if you can just shed a little light on sort of the inception of that. We all know the reason behind it, but who instigated that?
You know, it was a couple different people. Obviously, being from the Minnesota area, a lot of my teammates, staff reached out to me to check in on me, see how I was doing, and, you know, wanted to know if they could do anything. And, you know, throughout that kind of process, over those few days, a week or so ago, the idea came up to start a video. I believe it was 12, Aaron, that came up with the idea to put something out there. And, you know, as per usual, we followed his lead and put something together to get out there to, you know, as you said, shine some light on the situation at hand.
And I actually am the beginning of that video. I mean, I think it's you that said I'm disgusted, and watching that whole thing. And then I remember the day it came out as a daughter of a very loyal Packer fan. I was so proud of your team and your organization for being one of the first to put that out. And with that said, how is the organization preparing to take action here?
You know, the video is one thing, and like everything else that has taken place over the last 2.5, almost 3 weeks now, unfortunately, it is what it is. There's a lot left out there that needs to be done. What each individual NFL organization, each individual team is going to do, that's unknown, you know, as far as right now. I know a lot of guys have been very outspoken about the season coming up, and whether that is kneeling following the lead of Colin Kaepernick, whether that is peacefully protesting in another way. I'm not necessarily sure what each individual person that is going to peacefully protest during the season is going to do, and I'm not necessarily sure what each individual NFL team is going to do, but I do think that a lot of teams out there, the Packers included, set a standard, and, you know, donating, you know, over $500,000, you know, to this, call it a movement, but donating $500,000 is something that is, you know, obviously very, very amazing. Don't get me wrong. But with that being said, the money is not going to change this issue. So we will see what each individual organization will do, and we will see how, you know, the NFL as a whole and, you know, Roger Goodell approaches this issue as the season comes along.
Billy, you were born in Minnesota. You are a high school superstar in Minnesota. You could live anywhere in the world. You live in Minnesota currently. Take us into that city and really that metropolitan market, what it's been like the last 3 weeks, how important it is for this city to rise above.
It's been different, you know, and not completely different. Don't get me wrong. You know, and the unfortunate part of this is that was not the first minority that was killed by police brutality or violence. You know, I say killed to, you know, not be graphic, but he was publicly executed. And like I said, unfortunately, that's not the first time that that's happened in this country, and definitely not the first time that that's happened in this metropolitan Twin Cities area. It happened a couple of years ago. It happens every year, it seems like, you know. So it's very, very unfortunate, you know, 2.5, 3 weeks ago when George Floyd was publicly executed, the city went crazy. and they went crazy and they turned up for very good reason. I don't condone looting. I don't condone rioting, and I don't condone all the violence that has come from that event the last couple of weeks. But I do think that protesting and marching has been very peaceful, and it has shone a light on the issue at hand. And it's just unfortunate, again, that a man's life had to come and be taken from not only him, his 6-year-old daughter that has to grow up now without a father. It's just unfortunate that something like that had to happen for our country to really, truly see what has been going on for the last 400 years.
Mm.
Billy, you mentioned you guys have the video that came out. We saw a NFL video come out with guys like Patrick Mahomes, Ezekiel Elliott, many other stars talking about how they're against, obviously, police brutality. And then we see the NFL responded. Roger Goodell came out with his statement as well. You just said to us, that's great to make a statement, but we need to see more. What would you like to see? What would you guys want to see?
It's what would I personally like to see? I would like to see a change, not from the NFL, but a change from humanity. That's the ultimate goal here. Me being an NFL player and being a part of the shield that is the NFL, I have a platform, fortunately, that I'm able to use to help spread the word, to help, magnify that light that has been shown the last couple of weeks more specifically. So, it's tough to say exactly what you want to see done. I think the first step with the season approaching is I would love to see Roger Goodell and the NFL take away that rule that was implemented a year or two ago, saying that if you do peacefully protest, you're going to get fined. If you're going to peacefully protest, you need to go in the locker room or in the tunnel. You can't be on the field. Otherwise, you and or your team is going to be fined. I would love to see that, rule thrown out the door. But, with that being said, peacefully protesting is shining that light. It is magnifying that with the platform that we have as NFL players and, NFL games that are, shown across the world every Sunday, Monday, Thursday. But, at the end of the day, peacefully protesting and shining a light on the issue is only the first part of this problem. The next step and the truly important step to this issue is to make change and to see that change through.
I think that's the consensus, right, from everyone. It's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing to actually do something, actionable efforts. You are a man who takes a lot of actionable efforts. Your philanthropic work is vast. And one project in particular that I love is your Irie Project. Would you mind telling the viewers a little bit more about that, Billy?
Yeah, the Irie Project was something that, was an idea that I came up with at the beginning of last season. Me and my project manager, Asia, it was the first project that me and her really attacked and saw through start to finish. So it definitely felt good to, be able to see your first project through start to finish. But, the best part about that was the giving back portion. So the idea behind it was, I love clothing, I love fashion, but, I love it because I'm able to express myself through the clothing that I make and the clothing that I wear. That being said, I created a piece of clothing, a hoodie and a jacket that me and one of my buddies, Chad Johnson down in Miami, put together, so to speak. And we were able to give these pieces to the team, to the staff, to members in the facility that I work with, on an everyday basis. And on those pieces were a piece of art that children in the Twin Cities area at a local elementary school made. So I gave their art teacher, who I'm friends with, 4 words that I wanted to see these kids exemplify into their art and into their creations. And that was peace, love, equality, and inclusion. And ironically enough, those 4 words are something that I believe our world is in dire need of, not only now, but has been in dire need of for centuries, long before I've walked this earth and probably long after I walked this earth, unfortunately. But these kids were able to take this artwork. They were able to create whatever came to their mind. We took it, we sewed it onto the back of these coats and these hoodies, and I gifted it to my teammates. So, from the point of view of a child, kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, whatever it may be, just giving you the platform and the opportunity to have your artwork be worn by professional athletes. People like Aaron Rodgers, a professional football player, to say the least, a Hall of Famer, you know? And it was the same concept as me walking into my parents' house today and seeing artwork on their refrigerator all over their house that I created when I was a little kid in kindergarten. You know, it's the same idea, but now, whereas it's not your parents, you know, your parents might see that artwork, but that artwork is going to be on television. That artwork is going to be worn by professional athletes who have this platform like I do today, being on national television. So, you know, that was a big part of that, to give these kids that platform and to give them a little bit of excitement behind a project at school that can get a little bit stale at times. Wow. And then on top of that, every individual piece of artwork that those kids made, I ended up donating 3 to 5 coats to the local Salvation Army in Green Bay, and then my local church here in Minneapolis that I attend.
Incredible, Billy. And you've been very vocal that a couple years ago you were in a dark spot and you've come out on the other side and you are spreading your light. It's contagious. And if we can take that as like a very small piece of what we should all do as a community. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here.
For the best access, perspective, and personalities in all of sports, follow us at Fox Sports on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.